Selamat datang pada mata pelajaran biologi kelas 11 MIPA semester 1 SMA Negeri 1 Pekalongan. Pada kesempatan kali ini kita akan mempelajari materi bioproses, khususnya materi pembelahan sel. Selamat belajar. Tujuan dari pembelajaran ini adalah peserta didik dapat menjelaskan pembelahan sel secara amitosis, mitosis, dan meiosis. Pembelahan sel. Reproduksi sel berlangsung melalui proses pembelahan. Pembelahan sel terbagi menjadi 3, yaitu amitosis, mitosis, dan meiosis. Amitosis. Amitosis disebut juga pembelahan langsung karena tidak melalui fase-fase pembelahan. Umumnya terjadi pada organisme uniseluler. Informasi genetik atau DNA sirkuler menempel di membran plasma sel induk dan mulai menggandakan diri. Selanjutnya, ujung DNA baru yang terbentuk menempel pada membran plasma sisi yang berseberangan. Kemudian terjadi pembelahan sel menjadi 2 bagian. Amitosis contohnya terjadi pada amuba. Amuba adalah sejenis protozoa mirip hewan, suatu mikroorganisme bersel satu. Kita lihat bahwa pertama kali amuba terdiri dari 1 sel, kemudian mengalami proses pembelahan secara langsung dan akhirnya terbentuk menjadi 2 sel. Pembelahan ini tidak melewati fase-fase pembelahan atau terjadi secara langsung sehingga disebut dengan istilah amitosis atau pembelahan yang tidak melalui fase-fase pembelahan. Mitosis adalah pembelahan yang melalui fase-fase atau tahap-tahap pembelahan. Mitosis ini terjadi pada sel tubuh atau sel somatik. Mitosis menghasilkan 2 sel anak yang memiliki genotip sama seperti induknya atau disebut dengan istilah 2N atau diploid. Fase-fase yang terjadi pada pembelahan mitosis adalah interfase, profase, metafase, anafase, dan telofase. Kita lihat bahwa interfase sebenarnya tidak masuk fase pembelahan karena interfase merupakan fase istirahat. Interfase. Fase ini berlangsung lebih lama daripada mitosis itu sendiri. 90% dari siklus sel adalah interfase. Interfase terbagi menjadi 3 fase, yaitu G1. Yang terjadi adalah pertumbuhan, pembentukan protein, dan pembentukan organel. Pada fase S yang kedua, artinya S itu sintesis, terjadi penyalinan kromosom. Dan fase G2 adalah yang terjadi pertumbuhan dan persiapan pembelahan. Profase. Pada masa ini terjadi sebagai berikut. Yang pertama, membran inti lenyap. Berikutnya, membran kromatin memendek, menebal, membentuk kromatid. Kromatid berpasangan membentuk kromosom. Metafase. Yang terjadi adalah sebagai berikut. Kromosom berjajar di bagian ekuator. Selanjutnya, kromosom masih terdiri atas 2 kromatid yang terikat pada sentromer. Anafase. Yang terjadi adalah sebagai berikut. Mikrotubula atau benang-benang spindle memendek sehingga kromosom tertarik ke arah kutub yang berlawanan. Selanjutnya, pada akhir anafase, Kedua sel kutub sel memiliki jumlah kromatid yang sama. Telofase. Yang terjadi adalah sebagai berikut. Kromatid memanjang membentuk kromatin. Selanjutnya terbentuk membran inti. Berikutnya terjadi sitokinesis, yaitu pembelahan sitosol atau sitoplasma. Kemudian terbentuk dua sel anak yang identik. Berikut ini adalah gambar atau bagan tahapan pembelahan sel secara mitosis. Dimulai dari profase 1, kemudian profase 2, ada pro-metafase, metafase, anafase, dan telofase.
Cell division is required for an organism to grow, mature, and maintain tissues. During the mitotic phase, a cell will undergo mitosis to form two new nuclei, and then divide to form two new individual cells during cytokinesis. Mitosis is the process of dividing the duplicated DNA of a cell into two new nuclei. Mitosis is split into distinct stages. The first stage is prophase. The DNA condenses, organizes, and the classic chromosome structure appears. Next comes prometaphase, where microtubules attach to the chromosomes. This step is followed by metaphase, where the chromosomes align. Metaphase is followed by anaphase, where the chromosomes separate. Finally, during telophase, nuclear membranes reappear around the two sets of chromosomes. Mitosis is now complete. After mitosis, two new cells are formed by a process called cytokinesis. Mitosis is only one part of what is called the cell cycle. For many eukaryotic cells, a cell is duplicated every 24 hours. Most of the life of a cell is spent in interphase. Interphase consists of three stages called G1, S, and G2. G1, or GAP1, is the first growth stage of interphase. In G1, the cell grows to nearly its full size and performs many of its specific biochemical functions that aid the organism. Next is the S, or synthesis phase. This is an important stage because it is during the S phase that DNA in the nucleus is replicated. The cell next enters another growth stage called G2, or GAP2. It is during G2 that the cell finishes growing. Once the cell has duplicated DNA in the nucleus and two centrosomes have appeared in the cytoplasm, mitosis can begin. For a typical eukaryotic cell, this will last about 80 minutes. During the first stage of mitosis, called prophase, we first see the classic chromosome structure. This occurs through a condensation process. At the same time, protein strands called microtubules appear from the centrosomes in animals. Finally, a structure found within the nucleus, the nucleolus, disappears. Next, prometaphase begins when the nuclear membrane is broken down. At the same time, microtubule strands, or spindle fibers, are growing from the centrosomes. These strands attach to a protein structure called the kinetochore. One kinetochore is attached to the centromere of each sister chromatid. Next comes metaphase. During this stage, the sister chromatids align along the center of the cell so that both chromatids face toward opposite poles of the cell. Now the sister chromatids are ready to be separated. This occurs during anaphase through a shortening of the microtubules attached to the kinetochores. Additionally, the poles of the cell move farther apart, causing increased separation of sister chromatids. At the end of anaphase, the sister chromatids have moved to the two ends of the cell. Telophase is the final stage of mitosis. It is here the components of the new cells begin to appear. At this point, the spindle fibers are broken up. A new nuclear membrane surrounds the chromosomes at the end of each cell, and the chromosomes uncoil and return to an uncondensed state. Mitosis is now complete. The formation of two cells is all that remains. Following mitosis, the cell undergoes a process called cytokinesis. First, the cell is compressed by a contractile ring that divides the cell in nearly equal halves. By now, the organelles in the cell have been replicated and are now divided between the two halves of the cell. This includes mitochondria, Golgi bodies, and the rough ER. Plant cells also have chloroplasts. Once split, the two new cells are now fully in the G1 stage of interphase and ready again to begin their growth. Let's watch the process one more time. Mitosis begins with prophase. Notice the DNA condensing into chromosomes during this stage. Microtubules appear during prometaphase, and the nuclear membrane breaks down. Metaphase occurs when the chromosomes are aligned at the center of the cell. During anaphase, the chromosomes are moving apart. The telophase stage is marked by the appearance of new nuclear membranes. This is the end of mitosis. Finally, the splitting of the cell occurs during cytokinesis. The two new cells are now ready to grow and perform their specialized functions.
Pembelahan sel berikutnya adalah meiosis. Meiosis disebut juga pembelahan reduksi karena akan menghasilkan sel anak dengan jumlah kromosom setengah dari jumlah kromosom induknya. Meiosis ini terjadi pada proses pembentukan gamet, baik spermatogenesis atau oogenesis. Perhatikan bagan meiosis berikut ini. Spermatogenesis. Spermatogenesis adalah proses pembentukan sel sperma atau perkembangbiakan sel germinal imatur yang dikenal sebagai spermatogonium menjadi sel sperma yang matang yang disebut spermatozoa. Sel sperma adalah sel reproduksi laki-laki dalam reproduksi generatif. Kemampuan pria untuk bereproduksi tergantung pada kualitas dan kuantitas sperma. Oleh karena itu, spermatogenesis terjadi terus-menerus dari masa pubertas sampai mati. Perhatikan bagan spermatogenesis berikut ini. Proses pembentukan sel sperma dimulai pada sel spermatogonium yang masih bersifat diploid. Sel spermatogonium tersebut mengalami pembelahan secara mitosis, menghasilkan spermatosit primer yang masih bersifat diploid. Selanjutnya mengalami pembelahan meiosis 1, menghasilkan spermatosit sekunder yang sifatnya sudah menjadi haploid. Selanjutnya, sel spermatosit sekunder mengalami pembelahan meiosis 2, menghasilkan spermatid yang sifatnya juga haploid. Lalu spermatid ini mengalami diferensiasi menjadi sel sperma atau spermatozoa yang sifatnya adalah haploid atau 2N. Oogenesis. Oogenesis merupakan pembentukan sel telur atau ovum atau sel gamet betina. Oogenesis terjadi pada semua jenis spesies dengan reproduksi seksual yang mencakup semua tahapan sel telur yang belum matang. Pada mamalia, sel telur ini harus melewati 5 tahap agar mencakup sel telur yang matang, yaitu oosit primer, ootit, oosit sekunder, ovum, dan oogonium. Proses oogenesis adalah proses pembentukan sel telur di dalam ovarium. Oogenesis hanya dapat menghasilkan 1 sel telur matang dalam sekali waktu. Berbeda dengan spermatogenesis yang mampu menghasilkan jutaan sel sperma dalam waktu yang bersamaan. Perhatikan bagan pembentukan sel kelamin betina atau oogenesis ini.
Have you ever wondered why children do not look exactly like their parents, or why some siblings look so different from each other? The answer lies in the process of meiosis, which generates the gametes for reproduction. Meiosis is the process by which haploid cells are produced from a diploid cell. For this to occur, the chromosomes must be correctly sorted and distributed in a manner to create genetically unique cells with half the number of chromosomes as the original cell. Meiosis occurs in special cells called germ cells within the gonads of males and females. For the successful reduction in the number of chromosomes to occur in the new haploid daughter cells, 2 rounds of divisions are necessary. These divisions are termed meiosis I and meiosis II. Although the processes of mitosis and meiosis look similar, there are a few major differences. One obvious difference is that mitosis results in 2 diploid daughter cells, and meiosis results in 4 haploid cells. As in mitosis, meiosis begins after a cell has successfully completed the G1, S, and G2 stages of interphase. During the S phase of interphase, the DNA is replicated, producing 2 copies of each chromosome called sister chromatids. The paired centrioles in the cytoplasm duplicate and begin extending microtubules that will form the meiotic spindle. Sister chromatids remain attached at the centromere and condense as the cell enters prophase I of meiosis. Up to this point, the cell looks similar to mitosis, but 2 events occur in meiosis that do not occur in mitosis and lead to genetic diversity. The first event occurs during prophase I, when homologous pairs of sister chromatids lie side by side in a process called synapsis, forming a tetrad or bivalent. The homologous chromosomes share similar but not necessarily identical genes. Once this structure is formed, the second event, called crossing over, can occur. During crossing over, a physical exchange between chromosome segments of non-sister chromatids occurs, increasing genetic diversity. Prophase I concludes with the fragmentation of the nuclear envelope as the duplicated centriole pairs move to opposite poles of the cell. As they move, the centrioles extend spindle fibers, forming the meiotic spindle. In prometaphase I, with the paired centrioles in place, the meiotic spindle is fully formed. The sister chromatids attach to the spindle fibers by their kinetochores. Here, another key difference between mitosis and meiosis occurs. Because of synapsis and crossing over in meiosis, homologous chromosomes remain aligned, so that a pair of sister chromatids is attached to only one pole by the kinetochore microtubules. In mitosis, each sister chromatid is attached to a spindle fiber. The fibers originate from opposite poles. During metaphase I, bivalents randomly align along the metaphase plate. Due to independent assortment, this alignment is random and adds to genetic diversity. In anaphase I, the homologous chromosomes separate and move toward opposite poles. Meiosis I ends with telophase I, when the chromosomes decondense and the nuclear envelope reforms. Cytokinesis separates the cytoplasmic material, and the 2 daughter cells are separated by a cleavage furrow. Since the final product of meiosis I is 2 haploid cells, meiosis II begins without the chromosomes going through another round of DNA replication. Centrioles again duplicate and begin moving to opposite poles of each cell. In prophase II, the sister chromatids condense while the spindle starts to form as the nuclear envelope disappears. In prometaphase II, the sister chromatids attach to the spindle by kinetochore microtubules, with sister chromatids attached to opposite poles. The spindle aligns the sister chromatids along the metaphase plate during metaphase II. During anaphase II, sister chromatids separate and individual chromosomes move toward the poles. The entire process ends with telophase II, as the chromosomes decondense and the nuclear envelope reforms. Cytokinesis occurs, and cleavage furrows separate the 2 daughter cells into 4 haploid daughter cells. The haploid daughter cells will specialize into gametes, either sperm or egg. These fuse in fertilization to form a zygote, which will grow into a child. The child receives half its chromosomes from its mother and half from its father. Because men and women produce millions of gametes, and the selection of gametes in fertilization is random, this contributes to genetic diversity. This explains why a child isn't identical to either parent. But why aren't siblings identical? The diversity comes from several sources. In prophase I, non-sister chromatids can exchange DNA through crossing over, increasing the genetic diversity of individual chromatids. In addition to crossing over, in metaphase I, the pairs of homologous chromosomes align independently along the metaphase plate and sort independently into the daughter cells. This process, called independent assortment, produces 4 genetically distinct haploid gametes. As the total number of chromosomes increases in an organism, the number of genetically distinct gametes increases by 2 to the nth power. This means an organism with n equals 3 can produce 8 unique gametes. For humans where n equals 23, there are 2 to the 23rd power unique gametes formed, or over 1 million different possible combinations. The combination of independent assortment, crossing over, and the random pairing of gametes during sexual reproduction increases genetic diversity and explains why a child will not look exactly like his or her parents or siblings.
Demikianlah materi pembelajaran pembelahan sel. Selamat belajar, semoga sukses, jaga kesehatan selalu, dan sampai ketemu lagi pada pertemuan berikutnya.